I want to examine how men are being depicted by Hollywood, on television, and in commercials. You may ask yourself why this matters, and that would be an appropriate question. The answer is that young men and boys are influenced by what they see on television, in movies, the YouTube video they watch, and the music that they listen to. All of the above have been influencing children and young adults for years now, and we are starting to see the effect that it is having on men and boys throughout the world. Men are often portrayed as mindless, shallow, overgrown boys preoccupied with sex, their ego, toys, power, etc. For years now, there has been a movement to make boys less masculine. This may seem like a radical statement, but it is blatantly true to anyone who pays attention to how men are represented by the entertainment industry. If you don't believe me, pay attention to the television commercials, sitcoms, and movies that you see for the next week. We rarely see men who are portrayed as a well-balanced warrior, who lives a life of honor, character, and integrity, who is a great father and husband, a good provider, or a man of wisdom and knowledge with a sense of duty and adventure. Before I get deep into this topic, I want you to hit the subscribe button now so you will never miss any valuable information that can transform you into a superior man. Let's know the 4 ways how men are getting portrayed in today's world. Number 1. The overgrown boy. Many commercials and television shows depict men in this way. Men are shown as nothing more than big kids. They are irresponsible, constantly lying around watching sports, drinking beer, being lazy, playing golf, or hanging out with his buddies, while his wife takes care of all of the important stuff because she can't depend on him to be a man. Men are portrayed as taking almost no responsibility outside of keeping their job, and that is because men have not been taught how to be real men. If a boy is not taught how to conduct himself like a man, when he becomes a father, he will not know how to teach his sons either. And the whole cycle continues. This has been going on for far too long. It is high time that men start acting like men, real men, not overgrown boys. In fact, at the time that I am making this video, there were just 3 college boys arrested for gang rape. The girl had passed out from drinking, and 3 college boys had their way with her. And to make this even worse, this happened in broad daylight, with hundreds of college kids, boys and girls, just standing around and watching it. And the kicker is, not one single person lifted a finger to stop it. Not one person objected and stepped up to help this girl, who had unwisely put herself into a very bad situation. How could this be? How could there not be even one true man in that crowd that would step up, be a hero, and stop this horrid act? The answer is that we are not teaching our young men to be heroes. Society is teaching them that there is never a good reason to fight, that violence is always wrong. Only the weak and uneducated have to resort to violence. This is total garbage. But it is exactly what is being taught to our young men. It seems that today's society has lowered its standards to the point that not much is expected from men. And in return, many men have now become overgrown boys instead of real men. Number 2. The mindless brute. Young men are being taught through television, movies, and in school that they should never fight, not even if they are just in doing so. They are being taught that violence is always wrong, that if you fight, you are nothing more than a mindless brute. The employee of a fast food chain, whose quick thinking and bravery actually saved countless lives. An armed gunman came into the store, robbed it, and looked as if he was about to shoot both employees and customers. A young man working in the restaurant made a courageous decision to try to stop the gunman, attacked him, putting his own life at risk to save the lives of his co-workers and the customers, and was able to stop the armed criminal from hurting anyone. 2 days later, after being heralded as a hero in the news, the man was fired for not following the store policy concerning robberies. And we wonder why young men are not willing to stand up, be heroic, and do the right thing when they see an injustice. What they should be taught is that they should never fight when they can avoid it, but that there are times when a man must fight for what is right. If the situation calls for it, they should have both the courage and the nobility to fight for what's right, no matter what others may think about it. It is not fighting that makes you a brute. It is fighting over trivial things or bullying people. Real men should always have the courage to fight for what is right and to prevent injustice. Number 3. The spineless wimp. We see this image of men consistently in commercials, sitcoms, television shows, and movies as well. This is the man who has been completely tamed by the politically correct policies of our schools, businesses, and governments. He refuses to defend himself. In fact, when faced with someone who looks bigger or tougher, he trembles at the possibility of having to confront such a man. Now we see advertising spreads with the metrosexual guy with no muscles, pink pants, and a baby blue bow tie, looking proudly confident in the fact that he is meticulous about his grooming and appearance, and spends at least as much time and money shopping for clothes as the woman who has him on a leash. Is this really the image that we want to constantly push on our young men? Do we want to raise an entire generation of men who can't or won't defend themselves? Do we want to raise boys who need a strong woman to stand up for them because they are too weak to stand up for themselves? I don't know about you, but that certainly isn't my dreams for my sons. There is no honor in being a wimp. Please don't get me wrong. I am not saying that every real man must be a tough guy or Chuck Norris. Not everyone is going to be a warrior, and that is perfectly all right. We all have to do the best that we can with the genes that we are given. What I am saying is that we shouldn't glorify wimpish behavior. Being like one of David Spade's characters and having a smart mouth and no muscles is not cool, no matter how much Hollywood would like to convince us otherwise. You don't have to be muscular to act with courage and stand up for yourself. Being a wimp is more about your mental attitude than your physical body. Don't be a wimp, but don't be a jerk either. Number 4. The egoistical jerk. The last category that I want to address is the depiction of men as being spoiled, egotistical jerks. These men are shown as being spoiled or having a lot of money, which adds to their overblown self-image. They're usually depicted as being selfish and only caring about their own wants and needs. Fun is their top priority, much like the overgrown boy. At the same time, much of their fun comes at the expense of others who they have no problem treating like garbage. What we usually see with this stereotype is that it is cool to waste as much money on yourself as possible, all in the name of fun. When young men see this image of rich guys rolling in money, with girls throwing themselves at them, all the best clothes, cars, etc. that a young man could want. Of course, this lifestyle looks good to them, and they try to imitate their actions. The focus is placed on being rich, but no attention is given to how to be rich and respectful, or how to be well off and use your resources for good instead of simply for selfishness. No attention is given to how to be responsible with your money or how they should treat other people. I have nothing against being rich. In fact, I would love to be rich myself. There is nothing wrong with money. What is wrong with this image of men is that it portrays all men with money as egotistical jerks and influences them to act the same way. This image of the young man who gets everything he wants without having to work for it is producing a generation of people who feel entitled to whatever they want in life, but who don't want to work for it. It has produced an entitlement culture. After all, why should one person get to enjoy life in this way, and others have to work for it? Right? Wrong. Finally, the conclusion is young men should be taught to stand on their own feet, to earn things for themselves. They should be taught that nobody owes them anything in this world. If you want something, get off your butt and work for it. But young men today do feel entitled. They feel that their parents should buy them a car, that their parents should pay for their college, for their vacations, for the best clothes, basically, for whatever they want. This entitlement culture is not building men of character, and this is not just coming from television and movies. Our government is doing its part to make young people feel entitled as well. Look at all of the entitlements that the government gives out using your tax money. Whatever happened to the idea of being self-reliant and independent? What happened to having pride in yourself and your ability to take care of your own needs? We need to teach young men to work for what they want in life. We need to teach them that hard work is worth it, not only because of the paycheck, but because it gives them a sense of accomplishment and self-worth. We need to teach them that there is no honor in being rich and wasteful, that if they are blessed enough to have abundant riches in their life, that they should find a way to use them to help others, as well as enjoy themselves. By the way, you have chosen the right video to watch as a man. Thanks for watching and sharing your valuable time with us. Hit the subscribe button and show us some love with a like, and lets us know that you're enjoying our content. We appreciate every single one of you and hope to bring you even more great videos in the future.